Hi guys, and welcome to another video, and welcome to my big League One playoff predictions, where I'm going to try and predict the scoreline of every fixture throughout the playoffs, the League One playoffs, the semi-finals, and the final as well. So probably a bit of a stupid thing to do. I'm probably going to be tempting fate somewhat with certain results, but we'll have a go at it. So of course we do have Blackpool, Sunderland, Lincoln, and Oxford all in the playoffs. Blackpool taking on Oxford in the semi-finals, and of course Sunderland taking on Lincoln in their semi-finals as well. Now, of course, with me being a Sunderland fan, I'll quickly discuss how I feel going into the playoffs. So for Sunderland, of course, we go into this playoffs with the worst form out of the lot of them by some margin. We're quite considerably worse than the rest. We've been very, very poor. We've limped into the playoffs over the last sort of 8 or 9 games. We really have just gone out on a whimper after that really good unbeaten run that we went on to then, not winning a game for 6-7 games. And then, of course, we've ended the season by scraping, and I mean scraping, a 1-1 draw against already relegated Northampton. We have been absolutely horrendous. For large parts of the season, we haven't played particularly well, but we've had that grit, that determination, and that little bit of fight as well, particularly in the final third, more so than the defensive third, because we've managed to scrape goals and pick up results when we maybe didn't deserve them. But that just seems to have disappeared over the last month or so. But a couple of things that are giving me a little bit of confidence, a little bit of optimism. So firstly, of course, it's luck of the draw. It's a lottery, the playoffs, depending, of course, you preferably want your side to go in with a bit of momentum, a winning mentality. You want them to go on the back of some good form, which of course Sunderland don't have at all. Although we're somehow still favourites when it comes to the bookies. I have no idea how they've worked that one out. But Lee Johnson as well, he hasn't really had a week or two with the lads to work tactically on the training ground, because they've played every 2 or 3 days, and of course with the travel as well, there's times where before games they haven't actually been on the training ground for weeks, because they're literally going from one place, playing a game, then they need to travel to another, and they need to fit in a rest day for the lads as well. So it will have been pretty crazy in that sense for Lee Johnson to prepare the players, but that's just the way of the EFL, and that's the way it works. You do get games coming thick and fast, and you need to be prepared for that. And we haven't, unfortunately, over the last month or so, like I say, with the way results have gone. But like I say, Lee Johnson hasn't had that amount of time. So if he gets his homework done on these teams, or on Lincoln first and foremost, and it really gets into the players, really sorts the side out tactically and system-wise, and drills it into their heads of what he wants them to do, I think on our day, we are capable of beating these sides. On paper, I hate that saying, but I have to say, on paper, really, you would say that we maybe have one of the better, or the best squad out of the 4. You might say anyway, or we should at least be able to go in with some confidence, if that makes sense. But it's just our form that suggests otherwise. But also, fans being back, that should, rightly or wrongly, play a huge part. Probably whoever's at home would get the advantage of that, because the away fans aren't going to be allowed into the ground. So, for example, when we take on Lincoln will have some fans there. Then back at the stadium, we'll have 10,000 fans there as well, which is going to be great for the players. And I think it could give them that much-needed boost that they needed, because, like I said, we just went out on a whimper at the end of the season. I think sometimes you do need that boost and that roar, the extra bit of momentum from the fans, and I think they could get that. But I'm going to go into my predictions now. So firstly, on the 19th of May, Oxford do welcome Blackpool for their first leg. So Oxford, for me, they will be on a high. They did go off the rails somewhat a little bit up until the last game of the season, where they did manage to scrape their way into the playoff place, of course. So they will be buzzing with that. Their confidence will have took a big hike, which is obviously great for them. But Blackpool, for me, they are the informed team in the league. They've been terrifyingly good over the second half of the season, pretty much. Attacking-wise, they're electric pace-wise. Ellis Sims and Yates have been banging form, 2 strikers who have been excellent. So for me, Blackpool are probably the team to fear within the playoffs for me. But for this home tie for Oxford, I am going to go with a 1-1 draw, because, like I say, I think the confidence will play a lot in this for Oxford. And I do think they're a solid side. I think earlier on in the season, I thought they played some of the best football in the league at times, but then they fell off. But they aren't a poor side, Oxford. We know that. We've had some tough battles with Oxford ourselves. But I do think they will get away with a 1-1 draw there at Oxford. But jumping 24 hours later, the 19th of May, Sunderland do head down to Lincoln for their first leg in this playoff semi-final. Now, I know I did say that confidence should rise somewhat, given that Lee Johnson, he is going to have like a week or so on the training ground with him. He's going to drill the lads, and he's going to do his homework on this Lincoln side, which I do agree with. But also, I think that Lincoln will have the advantage of the fans. That Lincoln are a good side anyway. They've been, or at least they were top two for a large chunk of the season. We've had some good games with Lincoln, of course, in the Papa Johns. We beat them on penalties. We beat them earlier on in the season at their place. Was at 3-4-0 where Jack Diamond scored that beauty. Although in saying that was a crazy game, because before we scored one in that game, Lincoln could have scored 3 or 4. It was mad. And then, of course, we just put the game to bed. But Lincoln, they're a good side. I know they're a good side. And I'm actually going to go for a Lincoln win for this first leg. I'm going to go for a 1-0 Lincoln win. But then we are going to jump over to the 21st of May, where Oxford do head down to Bloomfield Road, only around the corner from me, actually. But I think the Blackpool fans are really going to help out. Again, it's going to be a case of the fans really helping out team that's going to show the importance of fans as well throughout this whole playoffs in general. But they're going to get right behind Blackpool. You know, even without fans, they've played with huge confidence, getting at teams, and attacking wise have looked absolutely lethal. And I think with fans there, they could be a really, really difficult team to beat. And I think Blackpool are going to go ahead and win by 2-0 against Oxford, and that will take Blackpool through to the playoff finals. But now we do head over a day later, the 22nd of May. Sunderland take on Lincoln. They are a goal down on aggregate, as I did mention earlier, in my predictions anyway. But we'll try and make it sound a bit more dramatic than what it is. We do welcome Lincoln, and then I think this is when it's going to be our time to shine. This is where the fans really will get on side and really push the lads. I think, momentum at this point, it's going to seem pretty poor. We've just lost the first leg, but then it's going to be the first time a lot of these players have seen fans at the stadium a lot, some of them anyway. And particularly, the likes of Charlie Wyke, he's had a tough time at the club, but to score 30 goals this season, or 30-odd goals, however many he's scored now, without fans there, it must be horrible, because he has had fans on his back for a large part. So you might think that that's why he scored the goals, because fans weren't there. But I think for someone like Charlie Wyke, who I believe is a massive confidence player, to be face-to-face with fans who weren't originally on his back, but they've shown him huge support on social media throughout the season because of the way he's played, and he deserved that praise. So I think players like him, he's just an example that I'm using, to be met face-to-face with that support from the fans, I think it will amp the players up big time. The stadium light will be rocking. Hopefully, of course, it's only 10,000 fans there, so not necessarily rocking, but it'll be an atmosphere nevertheless. And I think we're going to win by 2-1, which will, of course, take us to penalties. It's going to be another penalty shootout against Lincoln, just like we did in the Papa John's semi-final. And I think we're going to win it again. And I think that will take us through to the playoff final to set us up. Blackpool versus Sunderland in the League One playoff final. And this is where it's just going to be absolutely hell for me. Because, of course, I live in Blackpool. I'm not going to be able to go anywhere throughout the day. I'll probably have to watch it from home. I definitely won't be able to take watching in a pub full of Blackpool fans. And, of course, if Sunderland were to win it, then I'd get killed. And if we lose, I'm going to have to go into hiding for the rest of my life. So it's going to be a very difficult day. And I've said it to my mates, some of them Blackpool fans. It would just be typical, wouldn't it? It'd be absolutely typical. It'd just be my luck that Sunderland take on Blackpool in the final and then we lose. And like I say, I'm going to have to go into hiding for the rest of my life. But that is not how I'm going to predict it. That is not how I am going to predict it at all. I think it is going to be an onslaught from Blackpool, personally. I think it's going to be an absolute onslaught where we're going to have luck on our sides. Some maybe scrambles in the box will just work out to a Sunderland player or fall to a Sunderland player's feet where we can get it away. It's not going to fall to a Blackpool player. Not some good chances. Burge will make a great 2 or 3 saves. They might hit the woodwork a couple of times. But I think it's going to be a last gasp winner. And we're going to win it. And it is going to be Charlie Wyke at Wembley to make it Sunderland 1, Blackpool 0, and Sunderland are going to go up to the Championship. Now that is the dream. That's what this video has been. It is literally just me rambling on, and that's the dream. And that's how I'm going to play it. It's going to be a nail-biting finish. With Blackpool battering us, we look like we've had our backs against the wall for the majority of the game. We break forward from them the first time, and it's going to be Haydn McGeady on the left-hand side, whips a ball in. There's our mate, Charlie Wyke at the back post, who nods it in to make it Sunderland 1, Blackpool 0, and we're back in the Championship. Doesn't that sound brilliant? That sounds so brilliant and dramatic. Probably not going to happen, but that is my predictions for the League One playoffs. Let me know how you feel going into the playoffs. If you're a Sunderland fan, a Lincoln fan, a Blackpool fan, or an Oxford fan, of course, as well. How do you feel and how do you see your playoffs going? But if you've enjoyed this video, please hit the like button for me. It'd be massively, massively appreciated. And subscribe to the channel if you're not already to become a fully fledged member of the Sassy Army. But for now, you take care and stay jam.